The game that humbled me, let me tell you.
Hello humans, and welcome to Xbox Memories. This will be a series where I discuss the Xbox games in my collection that bring back special memories to mind. From my gaming past, of course. Some good, some bad, some great. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Now let's get ready for today's show.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today, getting humbled, becoming a retro gamer, a past gamer. Guys, I don't care who you are, what part of your gaming journey you're in. There's an old saying in sports: Father Time is undefeated. And that's always true. Nobody's defeated Father Time yet. Not me, not the best of the best. Everybody eventually will lose to Father Time. Now, you guys may have experienced something similar to what I went through with Counter-Strike, and this is back in the day. You probably experience it now with, for example, Fortnite. And you'll see a lot of older people going, I don't get this, whatever, it's stupid, it's not a good game, whatever. Gaming hasn't changed, they have. In every gamer's life, there'll come a moment, well, you're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall because gaming has taken the next step up. The next, type of games will come along, whether it's a first-person shooter, platforms, VR, it doesn't matter. Something big will come up ahead that's going to be very popular that you will not like. And that's happened to many gamers, and it's happened over and over again, guys. When I was growing up, and I remember the first time I played Mario, there was tons, and I mean tons of people that didn't get it. They didn't get it, they hated the game, they just didn't want any part of Mario because it was a completely different experience than what they've had before, right? Until then, transition had been smooth, right? You go from Space Invaders to Galaxian, right? From asteroids to asteroid deluxe, those kind of linear movements. But sometimes you get new archetypes in gaming that many people are not familiar with, and they get stuck at that level because they can't understand that game, or they can't understand the type of gameplay. Now there's always other games out there for everybody, but I'm talking about the games that become popular with the masses that you're not a part of anymore. It happened to me with Counter-Strike, right? To that point, I've been playing first-person shooters, the early ones that came out on PC. As a matter of fact, this game right here, I built a PC for my son so he could play it. I made it out of old parts from the Recycler magazine, which was like Craigslist, but a newspaper back in the day. Parts from work. I got it all together. He wanted to play this game. It was a big thing. You have to remember, this game right here, guys, was the #1 online game in the world back then. And I was truly excited about playing it, right? And I was excited about playing it with my son. And once I got there, I just couldn't grasp it. As a matter of fact, I'll show you that I still suck by showing you some gameplay. This is how you don't play. Oh, brother, this guy stinks! See, I told you. But anyway, guys, that is the moment where you hit a wall so hard that you look back. That's the first time that I hit a wall in gaming, where I started looking back at my old games and saying, oh man, I miss the days when, right? Because I was never good at this game. As a matter of fact, I've never been great at online first-person shooters ever. I get too anxious. I don't know what it is. I take my time with games, and the game at that time just seemed a little overwhelming for me, and I never ever got it. And that's okay. You know, that's okay. That's the moment I knew, okay, now the things my son was saying to me, like, oh, Dad, just get it, you know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I remember having those conversations with older guys about Mario, with older guys about Street Fighter, right? When Street Fighter 2 came out, I've been playing Street Fighter 1, so, you know, this was even smoother, even better. I got into that, you know, like right away. I mean, I wasn't a super player or anything like that, but I could hold my own, you know? And when this came out, I could not. I was a terrible, terrible player. And because of life, I couldn't dedicate the time. You know, if it wasn't a game that I could pick up and play right away, I could invest hours and hours of time like a kid would on this. So, right, it just went beyond what I could do, right? And that happens to a lot of players. That will happen to you at one point. At one point, you will grow as a player where you have so many responsibilities outside of gaming that your gaming time is very limited. So when a game has a very high steep learning curve or requires a lot of time from you to put into it to actually master it in a meaningful way, you're not going to be able to do it because you just simply do not have the time. Now, as you get older, the other thing that happens is you don't have the reflexes, right? And you'll see older gamers complain about lag and, you know, the internet connection is bad. But if you notice, younger players don't do that, right? When you see that happen in a game, it's usually reflexes. Your reflexes are the first to go, just like fighters, you know. Fighters don't stop fighting because they lost their punch. They still can pack a punch, but they're just not as fast. They're getting hit three as many times as they used to because they can't move out of the way. And that's what happens as you get older as a gamer. You have to pick and choose your games because there's certain games that require speed and accuracy that, you know, not all of us, right? It doesn't happen to all gamers, but a lot of gamers, including myself, happens to where our reflexes are not what they used to be. So those games are harder to master and become frustrating, and when that happens, they're just not as enjoyable. You know, I couldn't get enjoyment out of my game, you know, getting killed tons of times, right? There's only so many times I could get shot. And then I would play my son, you know, and I was always the weakest team member, right? But yeah, man, I really got humbled, and then I started seeing myself in the faces of the older gamers that I used to talk to, and that was like the aha moment for me when my son started telling me things that I used to tell older players than me of why they didn't get Street Fighter, or why they didn't get Super Mario Brothers, or why they didn't get, you know, whatever game was going on. Now I was the older gamer. I was the one getting those talks, right? And that made me realize that I was that point that my older friends were, right? I had reached that point where I started looking back and looking at my older games and say, well, I know this is the latest and greatest, but it's not for me. Now, I still enjoy playing it, even though I still suck. And I'll let you see me suck on this outtake. Alright guys, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and remember, never be afraid to be happy. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.